I think more people who talk about politics should go to law school and should be trained to think like lawyers, because there is this thing called comparative fault. By the way, California has pure comparative fault. So you can collect something for your loss, even if you are maybe the other person was only 1% or 2% responsible. Fault and compensation are commensurate with the amount of liability that you have. Two sides can both be liable for something, but it isn't binary. It doesn't mean that it washes it out and that there's not a more liable or more responsible, more guilty party. I see, it's funny. I'm talking about him a few times now. Mike Cernovich, very smart guy, lives in Orange County in California, a very influential, I would say pro-Trump influencer. And he talks a lot and has over the last year or so, a lot about bad things that Israel has done. And he's smart to always couch it. Cernovich will say, you guys should see, there are some bad things that Israel is doing. We can't ignore it. Well, it's true. Don't ignore it. Israel has committed, there have been units that have done some terrible things. My understanding, those people are getting prosecuted inside Israel. It doesn't make Hamas the good guys. This is like saying that Abu Ghraib and what happened in Iraq makes the American military on par with Saddam Hussein's government. No one in their right mind could claim that. And I don't know if this is, I don't even know, Robbie, if this is the whole woke right. I'm not going to get into it. I don't like that term, so I'm staying away from it. But there's some people on our side are starting to remind me a lot of the people on the other side. When you have Whoopi Goldberg saying, it was, we black people didn't get the vote until women didn't get the vote. And making it seem that, America's not that great of a place either, as if somehow that just wipes it out. It's like, well, it's the same in the same. This is absolutely crazy to me. So the conversation about anything actually in the world, foundationally for me, and maybe we'll get to this because it ties into immigration. There are people out there, and it's not on our side, but on the other side, there are people that fundamentally think that this country is bad, that think this country is evil, that think that, for example, enforcing immigration rules is, puts us on par with some of these, real dictatorships across the world. And I think the left believes this. I think there's people out there that actually genuinely are invested in thinking that America is awful. And this has always been a hallmark of the left. This has always been something that their side has pushed. The Vietnam War. I think we can look back and say the Vietnam War was a disaster, both strategically, militarily and humanistically. But how many leftists came out and protested and not the government, not the president, as much as they decided that America was evil. And they believed it. That's the problem. And that legacy of leftism is very strong and continuing now through this radicalized new Democratic Party.